Chapter 1. Introduction: The Quiet Morning. The world stirs slowly under the blanket of an early morning sky. At the edge of a quiet English village, nestled among hedgerows and the low undulations of gentle hills, stands an old farmhouse with a thatched roof, softened by the damp of many seasons. It is the kind of house whose presence feels earned, not imposed. Moss-covered stones, timber beams that have seen centuries, and walls that hold the subtle scent of smoke, flour, and beeswax polish. A pale mist curls through the hedgerows as the first light of dawn creeps into the sky. The sun, still hidden beyond the horizon, begins to warm the air with a faint golden hue that turns the dew into liquid pearls on each blade of grass. From the open field nearby, the call of a wood pigeon echoes gently through the hedges, followed by the distant crow of a rooster, a sound as old as the farmhouse itself. Inside, all is quiet. The old floorboards, laid more than a century ago, whisper under slow, familiar footsteps. The air holds a stillness that is not empty but expectant. It is the hush before a rhythm begins, before the quiet breath of a new day draws its first full inhale. The hearth, the heart of the home, is cold but ready. Ashes from the night before lie in soft grey piles beneath the grate. A copper kettle, blackened with use and age, hangs just above. The hearth is not just where food is cooked, but where memories gather. Each stone along its border has held countless boots, skirts, and small, bare feet. Near the window, a thin lace curtain shifts ever so slightly in the draught. The glass is fogged at its edges, traced with the soft outline of frost that held through the night. Outside, the chickens have begun to stir in their coop, feathers ruffling in the cool air. A single hen calls softly, not in alarm but in greeting. The kitchen table, long and well used, bears the marks of time. Scratches from hurried knives, wax drips from candles, and the dull polish of 1,000 breakfasts. A ceramic bowl, half filled with flour from yesterday's bread, sits near the center. Next to it, a linen towel covers the remains of a loaf, its crust firm and golden. A buttercrock rests nearby, still cool from the pantry. Upstairs, the soft creak of the bedroom door is the first sound of waking life. A pair of woolen socks is drawn over cold feet. The day begins without a word, only the rustle of fabric, the stretch of limbs, and the quiet ritual of pulling back the quilt. The farmer rises with the light, not before it, not after. His wife is already awake, sitting by the bedroom window with a shawl wrapped loosely around her shoulders. She watches the field as the mist lifts, revealing the shapes of familiar trees and the slow rush of smoke from a neighbor's chimney. She does not rush. This moment before the baby wakes, before the chores begin, is hers. She sips from a stoneware mug. The tea is weak, but warm. Its steam rises in slow, curling ribbons that vanish into the stillness of the room. On the wall hangs a small wooden clock, its hands ticking gently forward. The pendulum swings with a quiet persistence that mirrors the pulse of the house itself. Slow, steady, patient. Downstairs the fire is laid, not yet lit, but prepared. Small twigs, carefully gathered and bundled with twine, are stacked beneath larger kindling. A twist of newspaper rests beneath the pile. The farmer strikes a match. Its sudden flare is sharp and brief. Then, as flame touches wood, the fire breathes its first breath of the day. Light flickers across the stones. Shadows begin to dance. The cat, curled near the hearth, stretches lazily. Its fur is mottled gray like the morning fog. With a soft chirp, it pads toward the warmth, settling once more in a tight circle, paws tucked beneath. Outside, the sun finally breaks over the low hills, casting long golden beams through the farmhouse windows. Dust motes rise in the light, spinning gently in their own silent dance. The house, now awake, hums with an old familiar energy. Yet there is no hurry. This is not a day of alarms or deadlines. It is a day of habit, of routine, of the quiet satisfaction found in doing small things well. In the scullery, water drips into a ceramic basin. A bar of soap, carved into a soft oval by countless hands, rests on the sill. A drying rack leans beside the fireplace, still holding 2 pairs of socks and a small undershirt, washed the night before. Soon the rhythm of the day will unfold. Eggs will be gathered, bread will be kneaded. The garden will call with its small demands. But for now, the morning belongs to quiet. The baby stirs upstairs. A soft cry, not urgent, not distressed, just a reminder of presence. The farmer's wife rises. Her feet, bare against the wood, make no sound. She ascends the staircase with the ease of one who knows every creak. She lifts the child from the cradle. He nestles into her shawl, already soothed. She hums, not a lullaby, but a tune older than memory. Outside, the mist is fading. The sky is pale blue, and the farmhouse under its thatched roof has begun another day, not with noise, not with speed, but with gentleness. And so, we begin. The farmhouse kitchen is the anchor of the day. As the first light brushes the leaded glass panes, this space slowly comes to life, not with urgency, but with rhythm. It is the room where warmth is born, where meals are prepared, and where quiet acts of care unfold like ritual. The hearth is never truly cold. Even in summer, a small flame remains to heat water and offer comfort. This morning, the fire is stoked once more, and the orange glow paints soft shadows across the stone walls. Ashes from the night before are cleared with a small metal shovel, then swept into the copper bin beside the hearth. The farmer's wife sets about her morning tasks with a grace born of repetition. Her fingers move with quiet precision, no hesitation, no noise. She moves from shelf to table, drawing down ingredients from pottery jars and wooden boxes. Flour, still faintly warm from the miller's stone, is sifted into a bowl. A hen's egg, collected just after dawn, rests on a cloth beside it. Butter, hand-churned, is wrapped in waxed paper. Each step is deliberate, gentle. She prepares bread for baking. It is a humble, round loaf, brown and coarse, meant to feed, not impress. She mixes the ingredients slowly, her hands folding dough against the table's surface. The scent of yeast begins to rise, mingling with the smoke of the hearth and the tang of iron kettles. Across the room, the husband has begun polishing his boots. He uses tallow and a stiff brush, bent low on a stool. He hums to himself, a tune without urgency, lost to time. Behind him, the cradle rocks softly. The cat has taken up watch nearby, paws tucked neatly beneath her. Nearby, a black iron skillet is heating. It's been seasoned with care over years of use. Into it go thin slices of bacon, cured in salt and smoke. The sizzle is a sharp contrast to the softness of the rest of the morning, but even this feels tempered, muffled by the stone and wool around them. Once the dough is set to rise, the farmer's wife turns to the next task, washing. A wide copper basin is brought to the hearth, filled with heated water and lavender soap. Linen napkins, dishcloths, and a pair of the baby's garments are soaked and gently scrubbed against a washboard. No rush, just rhythm. A knock sounds at the door. It's the neighbor girl, bringing a basket of eggs. She steps inside, her cheeks pink from the chill, and removes her shawl. They speak little, just a few words exchanged over tea poured into mismatched mugs. Her visit lasts 10 minutes, maybe 15, and she departs with a fresh heel of bread in her basket. Sunlight has now filled the room. Dust dances visibly, golden and slow. The bread is rising in the corner beneath a towel. The skillet rests empty, but fragrant. A small wooden clock ticks steadily above the mantel. Outside, chickens scratch in the yard. A cow lowing faintly in the distance marks the time for milking. But inside, the quiet remains. This kitchen is a universe in miniature. It holds the pulse of the day, its nourishment, its labor, its quiet satisfaction. Here, chores are not burdens, but the threads from which peace is woven. Time in the countryside does not tick, it turns. It rolls in cycles, slow and deliberate. Every season is a chapter, and each one is written into the soil, into the hands of those who till it. Spring brings awakening. After long months of chill and stillness, the earth softens, buds unfurl, birds return. The farmer, walking his rows, notes what has survived the frost and what must be planted anew. He marks the turn of the season not by date, but by smell, by birdsong, by how the mud pulls at his boots. In the garden, the farmer's wife kneels to clear away dead stalks and plant beans, onions and marigolds. The cat stalks moths nearby, pouncing gently in the loam. The scent of tilled earth clings to everything. In summer, the fields grow tall. Wheat waves golden, and barley hums in the breeze. It is a time of labor and length. The days stretch long and warm. Harvest is not yet upon them, but the promise is there in every blade. In the evenings, they sit on the stone wall with cool mugs of cider, watching the light fade gently into blue. Autumn is harvest, and with it comes a new rhythm. Mornings begin earlier. There is gathering, binding, drying, storing. Apples are picked, herbs clipped, root vegetables pulled and packed in straw for keeping. The kitchen is filled with jars, cloths, baskets, and the smell of cider and wood smoke. Winter folds the land under its quiet blanket. The garden sleeps, the fields lie bare. But inside the farmhouse, light glows warmly. Time here is slowest of all. Days are spent mending clothes, spinning wool, telling stories by the fire. The rhythm of labor shifts indoors and the outside world narrows to the width of the window pane. Each season leaves a trace, a pattern in the floor, a sun-faded chair, a dried wreath above the hearth. Life does not race here. It grows, it ripens, it rests. As the day fades, the farmhouse leans into stillness once more. Chores completed, the table cleared, the bread tucked away. Evening descends not with urgency, but like a heavy quilt, soft, inevitable, comforting. The fire is stirred and fed. It throws dancing light against the walls and onto faces. Chairs are drawn near, and shoes are slipped off. A book may be brought out, its spine creaking softly as it's opened, or perhaps it's a night for oral storytelling. The farmer speaks of when he was a boy, chasing geese through the village square. His wife tells of her grandmother's lace, how it was made in the dark winters by candlelight. The child, now awake, rests in her lap, fingers curled around a button on her apron. Candles flicker in their holders. A faint wind knocks softly against the window. Outside, an owl calls. The cat, ever present, jumps onto the bench and begins to purr. Evening is not an ending here. It is the reward, the moment to sit with the quiet and reflect. Perhaps tomorrow will bring rain, or frost, or a visitor. But tonight, the world is small and safe. At last the fire dies down to coals. The child is laid in her cradle, covered in a thick woolen blanket. The room dims, then darkens, save for the last ember's glow. The farmhouse sleeps, and so may you. Good night.